Yay!
Stuff that you
And that's walking distance. That's on Passyunk? You know, Emma downstairs teaches there too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like kind of why I like started looking at this because of her. So.
Yay. I'm so happy for you.
That my Comcast gig is like not really okay, but
Yeah.
like
It's getting your...
I feel like I have so much more control over what I want to do and what I can say, and so
When you teach in a yoga...
at the studio.
At the studio.
At Uprising.
Yeah. Just, it's a different vibe. But it's like both are good to really curate and hone in on your teachings.
Definitely.
I love that. Congrats. This is very loud. Come sit. Huh? No, we're quiet. There's plenty of room. We scared them all off. Intent, I know. It's a season. It's usually August is the quietest because everyone's on summer vacation. And then like September, January is the busiest because of New Year's resolutions. And then it like tapers.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But also like none of that could be true. I have no idea. Because it like weebles so much, the world.
You never know.
1, 2, 3, 4. Hi, everyone. We'll start in just a couple minutes. We're waiting on a few more folks to trickle in, but we'll definitely use a strap today for where we're going, so you can grab one now, or I can bring one over to you later. We'll also use 2 blocks and a blanket. We'll do a bunch of stuff with our knees down on the floor, so if you want some extra padding, a blanket's a great idea, and therapy balls. So everything, all of it, each and everything. But again, I can bring those over to you as we start to practice if you don't feel like getting up now. But straps, therapy balls are here. The washed blankets are here. We were missing them last week. Okay. One, 2, 3, 4, 4. Okay. Okay. We'll get started. Hi. Happy fall. Day 3. We have mixed feelings about it, but we're here. We're in it. We're moving forward. The time keeps passing. It's great to be with you all. There's some new faces to me and to the studio, so just in case we didn't have a chance to officially say hi, my name is Anisha, and we're lucky each and every week to have Kale with us, who will be assisting. So Kale's going to be practicing from the mat so that you can have a visual, the people at home can have a visual, and I'll be walking around and teaching. So if you have any questions about things that I offer or suggest, please feel free to ask, call me over, call Kale over. We're here for you as a resource. So you can use us to your advantage for yoga-related things, because that's where my expertise starts and ends. But yes, excited. So since beginning of September, which feels like both yesterday and 3 months ago at the same time, we've been sharing in class all month long stories and mythology of one of the great lords of yoga. It was his birthday in the beginning of the month on September 6th and 7th. And each week I've been offering a little tale about him and how it starts to permeate into our practice. And so the god that we're talking about today, I always like to point to him. He's the stuffed animal on top of the camera here. He's tiny right here. There was another big statue of him somewhere, but he might be living downstairs. He likes to travel, and by he likes to travel, I mean we move him around because he's a stationary object. But He is the god with the head of a large elephant and the body of a very, very big baby boy who always has his belly out, he's always seated, and he's always surrounded by sweets, because that's the offering that you suggest to him, that you give to him. So the first week that we were together, I shared stories of how he came into the world, how he originated. His dad, the Lord of Yoga, the great destroyer, and his mom, the goddess of the householder, they somehow created, even though Shiva wasn't involved actively, they created Ganesh as we know him. So the god's name is Ganesh or Ganpati. Last week, the story was all about his vehicle that he rides on the back of, a tiny little mouse that carries him through and around adventures. And today's story is the story of his broken tusk. So, two little asterisks before I start. One, you'll have to forgive me because these next couple of months, this week, next month, November, and December, are a little chatty in the beginning of class because there's so much stuff to share and say and so much sweet storytelling. But Larry's class is phenomenal. Brian's class is phenomenal. They teach tomorrow, Friday. They get you right into practice right away with not a little chat, but just give me a few moments and I'll try to get through it as quickly as possible. And two, the beauty of telling these stories is that you can think of them as characters that are very separate from your life, especially when you didn't grow up hearing these stories. And I invite you to take this time to take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But the beauty of the stories is that each one of these gods and goddesses were created by human beings. They are a reflection of us. They're not aspects of us that we aspire to become or that we crave to be the best versions. They act as a mirror that we get to see our three-dimensionality through. So you get to see the courageous, the demonic, the brave, the cunning, all aspects of the human condition. They exist in these stories. And telling these stories just gives you a little bit of reminders of versions of ourselves that sometimes get forgotten. Okay, so this story begins once upon a time, many, many years ago. There was a sage named Vyasa, which basically just means a scribe. And he was tasked with beginning to write down the Mahabharata. So all of these mythological stories and tales for hundreds of years were just an oral tradition. They were passed on from generation to generation, and no one wrote them down. So they kind of shape-shifted depending on who told them to you. And so Vyasa says, okay, I will find a way to start to write all of these down so they can be passed on. And now Ganesh, the elephant-headed god, he's the one who is the remover of obstacles, the god with so much wisdom and knowledge. He says, I will be the scribe. I will be the one that you tell me the story and I'll write it all down. The two contingencies that I have are, one, you can't stop talking. I won't stop writing and you can't stop talking until this task is complete. We have to finish it from start to finish. And two, you can't explain anything to me. So meaning, tell me your version of the story and I will write it down as I understand it, but don't give me any translations of it. So what starts to happen is Vyasa, the sage, he begins to talk and Ganesh is writing. He has a quill and he's writing everything that Vyasa is saying. And sometimes Vyasa gets tired and he's like, I want a break, but I can't take a break because this elephant-headed god is writing and we made a pact. And so he'll say something really complicated and esoteric so that Ganesh has to be like, wait, pause for a second. Let me write this down. And it's a built-in way of Vyasa getting a little break where he's like, I can drink water, I can take a breath. And so what ends up happening is Ganesh's quill, the writing utensil, breaks. And so what he does is he breaks off one of his own tusks and uses that to write down the rest of the Mahabharata. And that's the way in which we've experienced and gotten this ancient text that permeates its way through so many different avenues of our life. And so why am I telling you this story? It's unclear. No, it's clear. There are reasons, but one of them is that, the one very baseline one is when Vyasa is telling Ganesh the story, and Ganesh is like, you can't take any breaks. Vyasa finds ways in order to take breaks to support himself. And as we practice here in the yoga practice of the yoga of the householder, it's a practice that helps us realize, okay, we're not here to escape our reality. We're not here to push ourselves to our extreme limits, but how can you use this time to pause, to take breaks, to collect yourself and what it is that you need so that you can integrate more fully into the world outside. And the second moral is that when Ganesh breaks off his own tusk, he becomes a one-tusked god. He's able to take something of his own, one of his own offerings, to create even more beauty in the world around him. Like, he had no idea that he had the capacity to do that, but as soon as he was able to see what he had available to him, he was able to create one of the ancient texts and tenets that we still talk about today. So as you are not separate from him and he is not separate from you, the practice, it's an invitation to see what gifts that you have inherently that you can bring to create more beauty, more splendor, more awareness in the worlds that you live in so that you can take this practice off of your mat. Okay, that was 9 minutes only. I know it felt like a long time. I could go on for longer, but we'll get to practice. We're doing binds today. We'll wrap ourselves around ourselves and see where it takes us, because there's nothing quite like getting a little smaller to see how you can get yourself out with your breath and create some more space. But like the sage, like your practice, take breaks, sip lots of water, modify, spectate, hydrate. It's written in the stars, it's written in history. We need to take breaks when we need to take breaks, so give yourself the time to do that. But I'm really happy you guys are all here. Thanks for listening to the spiel. We'll get started in a comfortable seat when you're ready. So if you're not there already, you can sit up cross-legged, you can sit on your knees. I like to sit up on props so that my hips can naturally be higher than the knees, to give your low back lots of extra space. But with your eyes softly closed or softly open, can you turn towards your breath? When we close our eyes, it gives us a moment to see ourselves more clearly than before. Where each breath gently dissolves the day and the afternoon that was. Each breath lets you arrive to where you are now. And each breath that comes after makes space for what has yet to come. So as you take this time to notice your breath, can you feel it naturally begin to deepen? Letting each inhale move from your nose down into your belly and up into your heart. And as you exhale, offer the breath up and out through the very crown of your head. Continue with a few more of those breaths, just at your pace, letting each breath move in, down, and wide. And each exhale offers itself up and out through every fiber of you. Our time together will start with 3 more of those same breaths. You can draw your hands to center anywhere that feels for you, on your body or in front of your heart in that moment of self-reverence. If your hands are in Anjali Mudra, you might pull your thumbs back to touch your heart as you lift your heart up into your thumbs to meet yourself where you are. Wait for your next inhale as it fills you up. And exhale to offer that breath out. 2 more times on your own. At the bottom of your breath, pause for a moment. Take notice of any difference that comes when you listen for and remember your breath. And now, keeping that attention as best as you can, gently release your hands, blink your eyes open, and let's start standing today at the top of your mat. So you can clear your props. You might have your blocks framing out the front of your mat if they're not already. Let your feet come hip distance apart and take a tiny bend in your knees just so that the legs don't lock. And now watch for your neighbors and your friends around you. As you inhale, reach your arms forward and up to the sky, get tall. And exhale to stay tall as you just let the arms come down by your sides. Let's do that 3 more times with your breath. Inhale to reach up, touch the sky. And as you exhale, let the hands come down by your sides while the crown of your head grows taller. 2 more. Big breath in. Breathe into your belly, into your chest. Stay for your exhale as the arms come down. Let the knees soften as you grow tall. Now 1 more time. Inhale to reach up, touch the sky. And on your exhale, soften your knees as you hinge at your hips and fold over your legs. Bring your hands to blocks or the floor out in front of your feet. You might bend your knees a lot until your fingertips touch the ground in front of you. But as you bow your head in towards yourself, take a bigger breath in and a longer breath out through every direction of your being. Now inhale to come up halfway to lengthen. Let the balls of your feet be heavy as you reach your chest forward. And on your exhale, fold in towards yourself once again. Plant your palms to the top of your mat. Walk your feet to the back of your mat to take it back to downward facing dog. Stay for a breath or 2. You might pedal the heels from side to side. You might soften or straighten your legs simultaneously. But let it be an offering to your breath, just as it was a moment ago. A bigger breath in and a longer breath out. Now on your next inhale, come forward to plank pose. Find the top of your push-up. With your knees up or down, think tailbone towards your heels. Feel that low belly lift. And now push through your palms as your chest reaches forward. Big breath in. And on your exhale, bend your elbows to lower all the way down to your belly. Bring your hands as wide as your mat. Take up space. And inhale to rise for cobra or baby cobra as you lift up through the heart. And let your exhale bring you back to downward facing dog for 3 steady breaths. Each breath flows first in the direction of your heart, the very center of your being. The heart slowly then begins to awaken your mind, and the mind inspires the full agency and depth of your body. So as you take 1 more breath in, let it fill you up. Stay for your exhale to offer that breath out. Now lift your heels high, soften your knees, look forward, and 1 foot at a time, walk your feet up towards your hands to come into your forward fold. Hi! Inhale to come up halfway to lengthen, and exhale to fold, bowing in towards yourself. Take a long breath in to rise. Stand through your legs, reach up, touch the sky, and on your exhale, release. Let your hands come down by your sides. Let's do that 1 more time. Follow your breath as you inhale, reach up, get tall, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale to fold, Uttanasana, bowing in. Inhale brings you halfway up to lengthen. Follow your breath. And on your exhale, take it back to plank pose, the top of your push-up. Take a full round of breath here. And as you exhale, lower Chaturanga Dandasana. Wait for the inhale to rise, Cobra, Bhujangasana. Hug the shoulder blades together. And on your exhale, we meet in downward facing dog, hips to the sky. You made it. Anytime. You need anything else? But it starts at 6:45 for you, so it's all good. On your next breath in, lift the right leg up and back. Step it through or around to catch your lunge. And now come high up onto your fingertips or blocks on either side of that right foot. Keep your left hand down on the ground. Reach your right arm straight ahead towards the front of the room, towards kale. And as you stretch forward through the right fingertips, try and tack that right hip back towards the wall behind you. Take a big breath in here. And as you exhale, let's twist open to the right. Revolve open to the right. Twice more with your breath. Reach the right arm back and then forward. And as you exhale, twist a big circle. 1 more time. Notice what the shoulder, the wrist, the arm feels like. And now the next time you twist open to the right, stay here for a breath. Lift that back left thigh higher up off the ground. Tack your front right hip back and then lean back against yourself as you take 1 more breath in. Stay for your exhale and bend into that front thigh. And now hands come down to the ground. Soften your left knee and step it back to downward facing dog. Pedal your heels from side to side. Notice any difference from one leg to the other. And we'll come to the second leg. Lift the left leg up and back. Step it through or around to catch your lunge. Come high up onto your blocks or fingertips on either side of that left foot. And now with your right fingertips down, reach your left arm straight ahead, as if someone's holding your left hand and giving you a pull forward, but you're resisting with the left hip. Take a big breath in, and on your exhale, we circle open to the left. Twice more, big inhale to reach back and then forward. Stay as you exhale, twist open. Wait for your breath in as you grow long. And now stay twisting to the left as you revolve. Lift that back right thigh, a drop higher up off the earth. Tack your front left hip back. And can you lean back against the steadiness that you've created as you bend into that front thigh? Big breath in. Stay for one more exhale. And then inhale to unwind. Lower the hands. Step it back to downward facing dog. Pedal your heels one at a time. Notice any difference that you feel. And now inhale through to plank pose. Hi, welcome. You're okay. Exhale to lower all the way down onto your belly. Bring your hands as wider than your mat onto the floorboards. And come up onto your fingertips or blocks on either side of your mat. Do you mind if I move this just to the side?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. As you bring your hands wider than your mat, come up onto your fingertips, and we'll start with this wide-armed cobra pose. So on your inhale, press through the fingertips to lift your head, lift your chest, float your arms up. We're actually going to move you over here a little just so the camera can come in, and you're perfect. As you lift up through the chest, I know they're so sticky, offer it to your breath. Can you hug your shoulder blades towards each other? Press your fingertips down into the ground, and now slide your ears back. Take a big breath in, and on your exhale, release as you lower all the way down to the ground. Plant your palms under your shoulders, tuck your toes under, and take it back to downward facing dog as you lift your hips up and back to the sky. So that wide-armed cobra, you can always use it throughout your practice. The wider your hands get, the more space you might find and feel here in your chest. So as you take a bigger breath in, let it fill you up. Stay for your exhale to offer that breath out. And now next inhale, the right leg floats up and back. Step it through or around to catch your lunge. Spin your back heel to the floor, and we'll come to extended side angle. Right forearm to the top of your right thigh. You can reach your left arm to the sky or over your ear towards the front of the room. But check to see that the right knee and toes are pointing straight ahead. And now notice when my right forearm comes onto the thigh, I kind of drop into the shoulder. Push into the right forearm to lift the right shoulder up. Hug the shoulder blades together, and now slide the ears back. Take a big breath in, down, and wide. Stay for your exhale. Can you reach through the left fingertips and bend one more inch into that right thigh? Now keep your legs where they are. Reach the left arm back towards the wall behind you. Inhale to rise, warrior two. Stay for your exhale and bend into the front leg. Now legs stay steady. Just reach your arms up to the sky. Get tall. Bend your right elbow, pat yourself on the upper back, and let your left fingertips hold on. Think right elbow up towards the ceiling. And as you press your head back to lift your chin, slide the ribs back. Take a big breath in, down, and wide. Stay for your exhale. Grow 1 inch taller as you bend into that front leg. I know I'm doing it on purpose to warm the thighs up. Inhale to release the arms to a T. Press the right leg straight. Grow long in each direction. And for triangle pose, bring your right hand to a block or to the floor, inside or outside of that front leg. But with the right leg straight but not locked, feel both feet on the ground. And now pull your legs in towards each other. Pull the right foot back, hug the left foot forward. And now press straight down into the right arm. Reach the left fingertips 1 more inch to touch the ceiling fans overhead as you take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale. Let's do a side stretch. Sweep the left arm forward towards the front of the room. As you reach through the left fingertips, slide the ears back to lift your chin. 1 more breath in. And on your exhale, unwind. Lower the hands to the ground, bend your right knee, and take it back to downward facing dog. Give yourself a moment here. Pedal the heels one at a time. Just notice what you cannot see with your eyes, but you can very clearly feel. And now for that second round, lift the left leg up and back. Step it through or around to catch your lunge. For Parsva Konasana, spin your back heel down, left forearm to the left thigh, and as either right arm reaches to the sky or overhead, offer it to your breath. Press down into that left forearm and shrug your left shoulder up and back. Shrug your right shoulder up and back. And as you slide the ears back, take a big breath in. Stay for your exhale. Can you grow longer through the right fingertips as you bend 2 more inches into that left thigh? And now the legs stay the same. Reach that top arm towards the wall behind you. Big breath in to rise. Virabhadrasana 2. Bend into the front leg. Keep your legs steady as you breathe in. Reach just the arms up to the sky. Bend your left elbow. Pat yourself on the back and let the right fingertips hold on. Now think elbow to the ceiling. And as you press your head back to lift your chin, slide your ribs back. Can you guide that left knee open towards your pinky toes as you take a breath in, down, and wide. Stay for the exhale. Lift the elbow 1 more inch up towards the sky. And now the legs stay the same. Reach the arms out to a T. Press the left leg straight. And as you tap your left fingertips to your block or to the floor, in or outside of that front leg, come into triangle pose. You can always come higher up onto the block so you can give yourself lots of space in that left side of your body. But as you feel your feet on the ground, pull them in towards each other. You'll feel the energy run up your legs into your hips. Now keep that as you push straight down into that bottom hand and let the right arm grow 1 inch taller to the sky. Take a big breath in. And on your exhale, side stretch, sweep the right arm forward towards the front of the room. Can you press through the right pinky toes? And as you reach through the right waist, the right fingertips, slide the ears back to lean back. Good. On your inhale, unwind. Bring the hands down, bend your left knee, and take it back to downward facing dog. Pedal your heels one at a time. Notice what you feel from side to side. And now inhale brings you to plank pose, the top of your push-up, and lower all the way down onto your belly. If you have your strap, have it close by. You might use it in these next few poses, and just set it off to the side. If anyone needs one, I can bring one over to you, but have it off to the side. We'll take a round of locust to start. So as you stretch your arms alongside of you, flip your palms down to face the floor. Before we lift up fully, feel your legs hug your inner thighs towards each other. Now shrug your shoulders to your ears as you hug the shoulder blades together. Wait for the next inhale as you lift your head, lift your heart, lift your palms up off the earth, and exhale to let the legs float up and away from the ground. Let your eyes close or soften to really listen for your breath. Each inhale, hug your inner thighs towards each other. Think inseams of your pants up towards the ceiling. Now hug the shoulder blades together. Lift your palms 1 more inch as you take a big breath in. And on your exhale, release. Lower all the way down. Make a pillow with your hands. You can rest on your forehead. You can rest on one of your cheeks. But feel the fullness of your belly on the floor. The more you can breathe into your belly, the more space you might find in your low back touching the air above you. The more you breathe into your chest, the more space you might feel in the back of your heart. So take 1 more of those 3-dimensional breaths. Breathe into the front, the sides, and the back of your being, and exhale to let all of that breath go. Okay, we'll take that 1 more time. You can do the same version that you did with your arms free, or with a bind, you can hold a strap between your hands at your low back. I like to start with the strap hip-width distance apart, and let your thumbs face one another with your hands at your tush. Now before we lift up, shrug your shoulders to your ears, hug your shoulder blades towards each other, and now as you inhale, lift your head, lift your chest, float your arms up off of your tush, and exhale to let the legs lift up and away from the ground. That's it. Close or soften your eyes and really listen for the breath. Think inner thighs in towards each other. And as you hug the inner thighs in, try and tug your strap apart to bring the shoulder blades together. Take one more breath in. Stay for the exhale. Lift your arms 1 more inch. And now slowly release your hands to your tush. Rest on the other cheek, on your palm. And really listen for the steadiness of your breath. Take a big belly breath in and a longer, clear breath out through every direction of you. If you're on a cheek, turn to the other side. If you're on a palm, maybe the other palm comes on top. And a full breath in through the nose and a long, clear breath out through every direction. Okay, hands come to either side of your chest. Tuck your toes under. Press yourself up through to tabletop. Come up to your hands and your knees. And we'll take a couple of thigh stretches here. So the first one to start, we'll take it with a twist. So feel free to pad your knees with a blanket if you'd like some extra cushion. You might even have blocks underneath your hands so that the floor comes higher up to you. But once you come to all fours, step your right foot to the outside of your right hand for that lizard lunge shape. Again, I like to be on blocks. You might be on your fingertips, but with your left hand down, climb your right palm up onto your right thigh, and from your belly, start to twist to the right. Now hug your left knee forward. Bend your left knee to lift the left toes up off the ground. Stay here, or your right hand might reach back towards the back of the room. You might lasso a strap around your foot. You might hold on to the toes. But once you have a hold of the foot or the leg of your pants, shrug that right shoulder up and back. Oh, nice, got it. Shrug the left shoulder up and back. And now slide the ears back so your head is in line with your heart as you take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale. Turn your belly from left to right as you bend 1 more inch into that front leg. Now inhale to slowly release the hold of the foot. Plant your palms, take it back to tabletop, and find a few breaths here on your hands and your knees. Maybe you're in stillness. Maybe you take a few rounds of breath in cat and cow to link breath and movement back together again. And then after a few breaths, make your way back to table. Come onto all fours. Other side, left foot to the outside of your left hand for that lizard lunge. Check to see that your right knee is behind your right hip, not directly underneath it, so you might shimmy it back. And now right palm down as your left hand climbs up onto your left thigh. From your belly button, turn yourself to the left. Now hug the right knee forward. Bend your right knee to lift the right toes up so you're less on the kneecap and more on the bottom of the thigh. And now maybe the left hand reaches back for the right foot. Maybe it lassos a strap or you hold the leg of your pants. But really shrug that top shoulder up and back. Shrug the bottom shoulder up and back. And now as you slide the ribs back, can you press the ears back? Take a big breath in. Stay for your exhale and bend into that left thigh as you turn your belly open to the left. And now inhale to release the hold of your foot. Plant your palms on the ground. Take it back to downward facing dog and notice what you feel from one side to the other. From your down dog, lift both heels high up off the earth. Soften your knees, look forward, and come forward to the top of your mat, to your standing forward fold. Inhale brings you halfway up to lengthen. And on your exhale, fold, bowing in towards yourself. Take a long breath in to rise. Stand down through your legs, reach up, touch the sky, get tall. And exhale to release. Bring your hands down by your sides. All right, shake it out, sip some water. The air conditioning is on, but we're getting warm on purpose to get to where we're going. And then we'll cool ourselves down as we start to move on. But let's do a few moments in balance. So we'll start off in Vrikshasana, tree pose. So start with both feet on the ground. Soften your knees so that they're not locked out. And now lift your right heel up off the earth. Turn your right knee and toes to the right. And now shimmy your right foot towards your left ankle. You can stay right here breathing. Or you might bring your right foot up to your left calf. Or you can use your hand to bring it up to the inner thigh. Try to go above or below the knee. The knees usually only go front to back, not so much side to side. So as the right foot stays on the ground, comes to your calf or foot, push your foot into your leg and your leg into your foot. Now bring your palms together in the center of your heart. Push your palms into each other to lift your chest. Now as you push your right foot into your left thigh, can you guide your right knee open more towards the right and notice what you feel? Take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale to offer that breath out. And now inhale to lower the foot down to the ground. Feel gravity beneath you as you release your arms down by your sides. Nice. Second side. Feel your feet on the ground. Soften your knees so that they don't lock. Lift your left heel. Turn your left knee and toes to the left. And now either slide your left foot to your right ankle, your calf, or use your hand to draw the left foot to your inner thigh, above or below the knee. And now imagine like you had a sweet treat between your foot and your leg and you didn't want to let it drop. Squeeze your legs towards each other. Squeeze your left foot into your right leg and right leg into your left foot. Now hands come together at the center of your heart. Pull your thumbs back to touch your chest. Lift your heart up into your thumbs. And as you push your palms into each other, grow tall through the crown of your head. Can you press your left foot into your right thigh and guide your left knee open more towards the long edge of your mat as you take a big breath in. Stay for your exhale to offer that breath out. And now release the legs down to the earth. Release your arms down by your sides. Shake it out. Take a big breath in to reach the arms forward and up. Get tall. And on your exhale, fold, bowing in towards yourself. Keep your right foot forward. Step your left foot back to catch your lunge. Pivot your hands and feet to the left and come into your wide-legged forward fold, facing the long edge of your mat. Gently lean forward and back into the balls of your feet and your heels, and then try and find a sweet spot where you're not rocking back, nor are you rocking too far forward. Now as you hug your feet in towards each other, take a big breath in. And on your exhale, soften your elbows as you bow in towards yourself. Okay, I should have mentioned this earlier, but if you feel like there's going to be a butt really close to your head when you come up halfway, stagger slightly with your friends, because we will come up halfway. Keep your fingertips on the floor or on blocks as you lengthen your chest forward. For Skandasana, this inner thigh opener, turn your left knee and toes to face the back corner of your mat. Keep your right foot on the ground, and as you bend your back left knee, think hips towards that heel. You'll feel this in the inseams of your pants. You can stay here with the right foot fully on the ground, or you might turn your right knee and toes up towards the sky. But only go as much as you can to keep that the left heel down on the ground. The whole left foot stays down. Push down into the floor to lift your chest up, grow tall. And then be here, or the heavier your hips get, your hands might get lighter. They might even reach forward towards the sky as you take a bigger breath in. Stay for the exhale to offer that breath out. And now push through your fingertips to straighten your left leg. Turn the right knee and toes to catch your lunge. Plant your palms on the floor and take it back to downward facing dog. You feel that in the inner thighs? Okay, very good. The mythological connection is that Ganesh, the elephant-headed god, he was docile, he didn't want to get in too much trouble. His brother was Skanda, which is what this pose is named after, who was the god of war. So they got in fights a lot. And maybe you felt it in the inner thighs. So notice what you feel. And now let's do the second side. Lift the left leg up and back. Step it through or around to catch your lunge. Pivot your hands and feet to the right. And now this time, watch for the butts as you bring your hands to your hips and inhale to come all the way up to rise. Good. You can find your strap again. We'll take another shoulder stretch here. Or if you want to interlace your fingers, you can do that too. I just find that holding the strap gives me a lot of space in the chest. But once your hands come to your low back, elbows bend, hug your shoulder blades together. Now big breath in to lift your chest up. And on your exhale, fold, bow in as you reach your arms with or without the strap up to the sky. Teeny bend in your knees, especially if they lock out. Tiny bend in your elbows, if you know those lock out. And now as you tug your strap apart, hug your shoulder blades towards each other, and let your chest get heavier to the earth. Take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale, maybe reach your arms overhead towards the long edge of your mat. And now inhale to release the hands back to your tush, ditch your strap off to the side, and bring your fingertips to the floor. Skandasana, turn your right knee and toes to face the back right corner of your mat. And now bend your right knee as you guide your right knee open towards your right pinky toes. I like to walk my hands further forward of my chest to lift my chest up tall. And as your hips get heavier, maybe the left foot stays down or the left toes turn up to the sky. But think hips back as you lift your heart up. Take a big breath in, down, and wide. Stay for the exhale and slide the ears back to lean back. Good. Now bring your hands back down to the ground. Walk them forward to frame out your left foot and take it back to downward facing dog, hips to the sky. Pedal your heels one at a time. Notice what you feel from side to side. And now from your down dog, lower the knees down onto the earth. You can sit back onto your heels, sip some water, take a breath or two, and notice what you feel. We're feeling warm? Okay, because we could get warmer. It's always an option. It's not a threat. It's just an option. All right, 2 more things I want to try out before we go to our bound variations that we're going to explore. We've already done a version of them. We did extended side angle. We did triangle pose. And there'll be the option today of going into bound extended side angle or bound triangle. So first thing before we get there, find your strap close by, come into tabletop onto all fours. And now walk your legs as close as they can come together, thighs, knees, feet, legs to touch. Tuck all 10 of your toes under, feel the arches of your feet, and now sit your butt back onto your heels as you lift your chest. Now this might be more than enough sensation in those feet. If you want to alleviate some pressure, you can slide a block between your tush and your heels. If you want to alleviate more pressure, you stand on your knees, keeping your toes tucked under. But find your strap, hold it in your right hand, and now reach your right arm all the way up to the sky, holding the strap. Bend your right elbow, give yourself a pat on the upper back. Reach your left arm out to a T, turn your left thumb down to face the floor, and now use your left hand to grab the dangly edge of the strap at your low back for Gomukhasana, or cow face pose. Now once you hold the strap, you might have your fingers, you might have your t-shirt, but try and wrap your right arm towards your right ear, like you're holding a cell phone between your arm and your ear. Now draw your left elbow more towards the middle of your spine. Now with some resistance, can you tug your strap apart as you press your head back to lift your chin? Slide the ribs back. Take a big breath in, down, and wide. Stay for the exhale and let the very top of your head grow taller to the sky. Okay, inhale to release those arms. Unravel, come back to all fours. Shake out your feet, roll out your ankles, and give yourself a moment to reset. So now an option, you can do the toes tucked under again, or you might point your feet back behind you and try to squeeze your heels towards each other while you sit your hips back onto your heels. Sometimes at the last second, the calves get in the way, so the heels go like this. See if you can keep the inner edges of your feet hugging in towards each other. And now, maybe you sit on your knee, sit on your heels, or you stand tall, but hold the strap in your left hand. Reach the left arm all the way up to the sky. Bend your left elbow, give yourself a pat on the back, and let the right arm reach out to the side. I like to turn the right thumb to face the floor, and as you grab the dangly edge of the strap behind you, Gomukhasana side 2. There's always one side, depending on if you're one-handed dominant, that feels very different than the other. Normal, but just take notice of any difference that you feel. Try to wrap the left arm towards your left ear. And as you draw the right elbow to the middle of your spine, some resistance, tug your strap apart and gently press your head back to lift your chin so there's space. Ribs back, head back as you take a big breath in. Stay for your exhale. Let the top of your head grow taller to the sky. Good, and then inhale to unwind. Lower the hands back to the earth. Come on back forward to all fours in your tabletop position. And from tabletop, one more thing before we proceed. Walk your hands to come as wide as your mat if they're not already. Tuck all 10 of your toes under, and now stretch the right leg back behind you. Press the right foot into the earth. Swing your left heel to the left. We'll come into the supported side plank. And as you pivot your right heel down, Bring your right hand to your right hip. You can reach your right arm up to the sky or over your ear towards the front of the room. But feel that left hand, the one that's on the floor. Push your left palm down and forward and let that turn your belly open to the right, maybe even up to the sky as you take a bigger breath in. And on your exhale, unwind. Lower the hand, lower the knee, and take it back to tabletop. All fours. Second side, stretch the left leg back. Swing your right heel to the right for a kickstand. And as you pivot your back heel to the floor, you can start with your left hand to your hip. You can reach it up towards the sky, or you might sweep it forward as if it could touch the floorboards in front of your mat. But push down and forward through the right palm and use that to turn your belly, turn your heart open to the left. And now slide the ears back as you take a bigger breath in. And on your exhale, unwind. Lower the hands and the knees down onto the ground. Okay, sit back onto your heels for a moment longer. Sip some water, shake it out. We made it to where we're going. We've done all of the puzzle pieces. And now it's a matter of just putting them all together. So like I suggested, we did that extended side angle. We did triangle pose. And so I'll show you where we're going next, because when I taught this yesterday, better to just show you the whole option and then you get to decide versus talking you through all of it when it gets a little bit confusing. So this is what it'll look like. Is stage one, you come to extended side angle. Now, the thing about binds, which we've done a bunch of, this one is a bind, this one is a bind, we're about to go into another one. You're naturally trying to make yourself smaller. You know, you're like wrapping yourself around yourself, and the tendency of the body is to lean forward. You'll feel that here. But the beauty of binds is that you use it as leverage to tug yourself apart to find more space than there was before, which is why we love to see a strap. I shared this last week, but if you ever look at the deity of Ganesh, he has 4 hands, and in each one of his hands, he's holding something different. One of his hands is holding a lotus flower, the symbol of wisdom and knowledge. One hand is in Abhaya Mudra, that mudra of fearlessness, which we talk a lot about next month. And then in another hand, he's holding the bashu, or the lasso. We remember this from last week? It is a divine object, your strap. It gives you so much length than there might not have been before to give you space in the chest. So I'm just trying to remind you, they're here for a reason. We like to use them. So this is what it's going to look like. You can work in extended side angle, and I'll talk you through this in a moment. You can be here in the half bind. You can move. Can you pass me a block? Thank you. You can move towards half bound triangle, letting this top shoulder move up and back. You can stay here and breathe. Or the other option is as you come to, this song always sounds like someone's talking, but this is how the song ends. Usually I turn it off, but we're just going with it today. You can ignore. But for the not full version, for the bind, to have your hands catch each other, you bring your elbow to the inside of your thigh and you catch the dangly edge of the strap. A pro tip, I know I'm talking a lot, but I'm also giving you a little break before we're doing what we're doing, is the unflattering view is to see it from the back, so excuse me for it, but sometimes what happens is the strap comes close to the groin. And when it comes close to the groin, then you're like, this doesn't feel right. So if that's the case, give yourself more slack on the strap so you can bring it more towards the thigh, the middle of your thigh. So that when you, instead of leaning forward, you tug the strap apart, you can lean back against yourself. This is the sensation we're seeking. Then you stay here. You can move towards bound triangle pose, turning your chest and belly open to the sky. And then when you come out, we work towards a version of Vashisthasana. So we did this one here. You can do that again. You'll find lots of support. You can also work stepping 1 foot forward and finding lots of length in the sides of your waist. Or as you pivot your heels to one side and lift your hips up, let me show you on this side. Lift your hips up. The higher your hips go, the lighter this leg might feel. You might hold the knee. You might hold the shin. You might hold the foot. You might have a strap. And as you straighten this leg forward, Maybe it reaches up towards the sky. Like, but very different. Yeah? So you're giving yourself leverage and options and binds so you can find more space in the chest. There's a lot of chatter. I'll talk you through the options. Everyone have something they want to try? Okay, have your props close by. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Have your blocks framing out the front of your mat. Have your divine strap, your lasso, close by, and offer it to your breath. And now let's all lift the right leg up and back. Step it through or around to catch your lunge. Pivot your back heel to the floor. And as you climb your right forearm to your right thigh, you might have the strap in your left hand as you reach your left arm up towards the ceiling. Good. If you're moving towards stay here and breathe, or you might turn your left palm with the strap to the wall behind you. Bend your left elbow and bring your left hand to your low back. Stay here in the half bind as you shrug that left shoulder up and back. Or look down, slide your right elbow to the inside of your right thigh and grab the dangly edge of the strap behind the middle of your right thigh. If you want more space, widen your hands on the strap. And now tug your strap apart as you lean back against yourself. Take a big breath in. Stay for your exhale and bend 1 more inch into that front thigh. And now look down to the floor for bound triangle. Maybe you give yourself more slack on the strap as you push your right foot down and forward to straighten your right leg. Tug your strap apart to lean back against the steadiness that you've created. 1 more breath in. Stay for your exhale. And then inhale to slowly release the hold of the strap. Bend your right knee. Plant your palms and take it back to downward facing dog. Now check to see that your left hand is as wide as the left side of your mat. Pivot both heels to the left and all 10 toes to the right. You might step your right foot halfway forward in between your legs for the kickstand as you lift your hips higher to the sky. Maybe the right hand comes to your hip, maybe it reaches to the sky, but the higher your hips get, the lighter that right leg might feel. Maybe your right hand catches your right knee or shin. Maybe it holds the calf or the ankle. But as you straighten your right leg forward towards me, maybe your right leg reaches up to the sky. But everyone push down and forward through your left palm to turn your belly open to the sky. Whee! And then inhale to unwind, lower the hands, lower the feet, and take it back to downward facing dog. How'd that go? Questions? Weeble City. For me too. Thoughts, questions? You just want to blitz through the other side? Okay, great. Love to see it. If you have any questions, please do feel free to ask. There's so much to share, but let's do second side. So for extended side angle, lift your left leg up and back. Step it through or around. Pivot your back heel to the floor. And as you grab the strap in your right hand, left forearm to the left thigh, and reach your right arm all the way up to the sky. Take a breath or two here and notice what you feel. Now, if you'd like to come into that half bind, turn your right palm to face the wall behind you. Bend your right elbow to bring your right hand to your low back. You can stay in the half bind as you shrug this right shoulder up and back. So much to do. Or if you want to come in for that different version, slide your left elbow to the inside of your left thigh, and from behind your leg, catch the dangly edge of the strap, closer towards the thigh. Now tug your strap apart as you slide the ears back to lean back. As you tug your strap apart and lean back, take a bigger breath in and a longer breath out. And now for bound triangle, look down to the ground. Nice, that's it. Yeah, in through here. And then catch the strap here and pull apart. And then lean your chest back. Yes. Now look down to the ground. Push the left foot down and forward to straighten your left leg, maybe more slack on your strap, as you lean back to turn your chest open to the sky. Beautiful. On your inhale, release the hold of your strap. Look to the earth, bend your left knee, plant your palms, and take it back to downward facing dog. Walk your right hand all the way over to the right side of your mat. You might walk your feet an inch or two closer towards your wrists so you shorten your stance. And now spin both heels to the right, all 10 toes to the left. You might step your top foot halfway forward in between your hand and foot for steadiness. Or as you stack your legs, lift your hips higher. Slide the ears back. Maybe the left hand to your hip, maybe up to the sky. Maybe that top leg gets lighter so much that your left hand holds the left shin, the calf, or the ankle. And as you straighten your left leg forward towards the wall in front of you, maybe the left leg reaches to the sky as you turn your belly towards the ceiling. Whee! On your inhale, unwind, lower hand and knee to the earth. Take it back to downward facing dog. And now your choice here, stay here and breathe. You can lower your knees to the floor and take a few breaths close to gravity. Or your breath might take you through one of those linking vinyasas we've done together already. But really slow down your next breath in and offer your exhale out through every fiber of your being. After your next few breaths, we'll all meet with the knees down and come to sit on your tush. Whew, Vashisthasana. Tightrope, wobble city. So come to sit on your butt, stretch your legs out in front of you, and we'll take a few hip openers as we stay seated. So actually bend your knees, bring both feet onto the floor, and for figure 4 with your hands behind your tush, cross your right ankle over your left thigh for figure 4 seated. That's it, flex your right foot a lot, and as you push down and forward through your hands, lift your chest up to the sky. You can stay right here, breathing. There's lots to do in that outer right hip. Or you might scooch your hips closer towards that front left heel. Stay here, offer it to your breath. I invite you to close or soften your eyes so you move less from a place of what others are doing, of what you think you should look like, but more of what you notice in the outer hip. If you so desire, you might heel toe that bottom left foot over to the right and lower your left knee and shin down onto the ground for Agni Stambhasana, fire log pose. If you get there and you're like, no, not breathing, come back to figure 4, because the point is that opening through the outer right hip. But flex through both feet, push your palms down and forward to lift your chest up. And now as your shins stack one on top of the other, flex through your feet a lot as you lift your chest. Good, stay right here, full with your breath. Or only if you so desire, if you're in that double pigeon, you might hinge at your hips and fold as if your chin could hook over that right shin. But wherever you are, 3 more breaths. In figure 4, in that fire log, slow and steady that breath down. In through the nose, and a longer breath out. Now if you folded forward, wait for the breath in to come all the way back up to rise. Everyone uncross your legs and bring your feet back to the ground. And windshield wiper your knees again from side to side just to clear some space in the hips. Now let's check out side 2. So feet and knees back through center. Figure 4 on the second side, left ankle over the right. Stay and start here. Your hips can be very different, so this may be more than enough as you lift up through the chest. Take a big breath in and a longer breath out. Again, only if you desire, you might scooch your hips closer towards that bottom right heel. As you push through your arms, lift your chest up. Close or soften your eyes and imagine your breath could go in and down into that outer left hip. And then you get to explore. Only if it feels right, you might walk that bottom right foot over to the left and lower your left knee and shin down onto the earth. If you're in that fire log shape, just watch the sickle of that top foot. Let the ankle cross over the knee or thigh and flex through both feet. It's called fire log because it's like your shins are logs in a fire stacked on top of each other. And soft burning in the hips, or maybe just mine, heat in and through the hips. But again, if you come to Agni Stambhasana and you're like, no, I'm not breathing, come back to figure 4. If you'd like to fold, you can fold over at your hips, imagining your chin crossing over and across. The 3 steady breaths. Take a deeper breath in through the nose and a longer breath out through the nose or mouth. Yeah. Try, how does figure 4 feel? If you bring this foot back, this one. Keep this foot instead of on the ground like this. Mm-hmm. Flex the foot, and then picture this knee moving away from you. How does that feel there? Yeah, because as long as it's not sharp shooting pain when you come here, you want like shins to be stacked. And if you want to bring this foot over to the side, and then lower the knee down onto the ground, and then here, you bring this block underneath your thigh, and you just let gravity let this leg rest. Good. On your next inhale, if you folded forward, come all the way back upright. Uncross your legs, bring both feet onto the floor, and windshield wiper your knees one more time from side to side. Okay, before we fully come down and therapy ball our way into sleep, for the icing on the cake of September, binds, we're moving towards Padmasana, or lotus pose. It's not a pose, I know, I'm so sorry. There's sometimes like, if you are feeling things in your knees or in your hips, we have a lot of stuff going on. Take your time. I'm going to show you lots of variations that we can explore. But the idea, lotus pose is what's the word? Iconic. I keep saying iconographic, and that's not a word. It's an iconic pose that you see a lot of the lords and goddesses doing in the practice, because the metaphor of the lotus flower is that lotus flowers grow out of seemingly uninhabitable water, right? Like the water is mucky, it's gross, but then the lotus comes out almost untouched in all of its splendor and its beauty. So seated in lotus, the idea is that you're accessing versions of yourself in stillness to find more clarity than before. Asterix, it's a bad, weird pose. You know, it's not a pose for me that's sustainable with the knees. So there's lots of variations that we can try out. Can I have a strap for a moment? So this is what lotus looks like if you want to explore the variation, where you bend your knees, bring your feet on the ground, and I'll talk you through it, and you cross the ankle over. You can stay here. You can be in that Agni Stambhasana shape. But the idea is one foot comes close towards your hip flexor, to the inner thigh. And you want to think avoiding sickling the foot, because eventually you'll feel that in the ankle, and that might not feel great. So you want to think heel towards the inner thigh. This is plenty, breathing here. If you want, the bottom foot might cross over, and you stack your shins on top of each other. And then you sit here. We'll be here for 3 to 5 breaths. If seeing this makes your knees be like, no, please don't do it. There's no obligation. A version that I love that my dear friend Jean-Jacques taught me is you find your divine lasso. I'm really just riding your strap. You make it into a big loop as you need, and you make it into a little infinity sign. And then you can sit in Sukhasana, that cross-legged position that you might be in, or one leg, and then you bring your knees into each one of the holes. Yeah? And then you find your strap, and you kind of cinch yourself into it. Here. If you're like, okay, lotus, and this version works, I'm throwing all the spaghetti at the wall, so take what works, leave what doesn't. The other variation is the bind in the arms. One hand catches the foot. The other hand, where's my foot? It catches the other foot. Nope, mine never will, but it might catch the strap. You lift up through the chest, and then you fold. Be in the pose that you can be in for 3 to 5 breaths. Yeah? 3 to 5 breaths anywhere that you seek. It can be here. 3 to 5 breaths. It can be in half lotus. It can be in lotus. It can be with the arms. But you pause where you'd like to be. So I invite you if you want to use the strap, make it like a big loop. You can find it and set it off to the side. Bring one or both hands to your low back and just see if your hands are rounding into your low back like mine often does. If you're like that, sit up onto the edge of a blanket to give your hips a little shelf. This will really help lengthen through the low back. So first things first, if the knees are feeling okay, you can sit in the Sukhasana shape, crossing your ankles, crossing your shins, and breathing here. If you want to come into that half lotus variation, bend your knees, bring your feet on the ground, cross your left ankle over your right thigh, or really favorite ankle, whichever one you prefer. Now, walk your bottom foot over to the left and use your hands to draw that top heel in towards your hip. Flex the foot as you lift the chest. This can be plenty. If you want to find your strap and make your infinity sign and bring your knees into the strap, you can. If you want to come in for that other version with the bottom foot, you use your hands to catch the bottom shin, lean back, lift the heel up, and bring both heels towards the inner thighs, towards the hip flexors. Be and breathe where you are. Maybe hands to your thighs. You might have the strap around your knees as you cinch yourself in. If you want to take the version with the shoulders, you turn your chest to one side, let your hands catch the opposite foot as you lift the chest, and then let your hands make an X, your forearms make an X behind you. You can also not hold the feet at all as you lift up through the heart. You might catch opposite elbows. Take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale as you slide the ears back. Stay right here and breathe. Only if it feels appropriate, you might hinge at your hips and fold over your legs. But 3 deep breaths starting from here. Take the breath in, down, and wide. Stay for the exhale. Can you keep lifting your chin away from your chest, even if you're folded forward, as you bow in towards yourself? Take one more long, full breath in, and a deeper, clearer breath out. And now on your inhale, if you folded forward, come all the way back upright. Release the infinity strap if it's there. Uncross your shins, uncross your ankles. Bring your feet out in front of you. And once again, windshield wiper your knees from side to side to clear some space through the hips and through the low back. Okay, once you've gone evenly from right to left, do a little turn. Come to lie on your back so that your head is to the front of your mat. Your feet are to the back of your mat. Have your therapy balls close by if you'd like to use them. If you need any, you can raise a hand and I can bring some over to you. But come to lie all the way down. We'll use them in a moment, but I'll bring some over to you as needed. Once you're on your back, either hug your knees in towards your chest or take a long stretch, reaching your arms and legs long out in front of you as you take a bigger breath in and a longer breath out. Was that how you have, Sam? Did anyone back here need therapy balls? Mm-hmm. Now slowly release the hold of your legs if you have them wrapped. I'm going to talk us through therapy balls all the way through the back of the body. We'll start in the hips, and then we'll work our way to the shoulder blades. So take the therapy balls out of their tote, bend your knees, and bring both feet onto the ground. As you take them out of their tote, grab one in each hand, and now press through your feet to lift your hips just enough to pop the therapy balls to the very top of your butt cheeks on either side of your tailbone. There's no wrong place or position for them to go. You just want to be in a place where you can really find the full depth of your breath. And once you find a sweet spot, let your arms release anywhere alongside of you or on your body as you take a big breath in and open your mouth to let all of that breath go. Now start that slow swivel. Keep your feet wide, knees bent. Sway your hips to the right, let your knees move to the left, and feel the therapy balls move to one side. And then hips back through center as you move to the other side. Continue to swivel your hips and knees from side to side. as you feel the therapy balls moving along the upper fibers of your tush. Big inhales in through the nose, Big exhales out through the mouth. Let all of that breath go. And now after you've gone back and forth a few times, bring your hips and knees back through center and use your hands to lower the therapy balls a few inches, more to the middle of your butt, slightly lower than where you just were. Start them relatively close together because they'll get wider apart. And as you let your arms fall anywhere they fall, take a big breath in and open your mouth to let all of that breath out. Now begin that swivel again. Sway your hips to the left and knees to the right. And hips to the right and knees to the left. As you swivel your hips from side to side, feel those therapy balls moving along the middle fibers of your tush. You'll feel them getting wider and wider apart. Eventually, they'll end up more towards the outer seams and the outer edges of your pants. And once they find themselves there, nice and wide, let them stay as you draw your hips back through center. And now walk both feet to the left side of your mat and drop just your right knee to the right so that right therapy ball finds its way into your outer right butt cheek. Any sounds you need to make, any long sighs, big, clear, steady exhales. But try and unclench your fists and fingers. Soften your jaw. And feel that right butt cheek unclench as much as you can around the therapy ball. Now on your inhale, draw the right knee and foot back through center. And one more side, walk both feet to the right. And drop just your left knee to the left so that left therapy ball finds its way into your outer left tush. For some of us, this is reasonable. You can breathe here. For me, who even knows what's happening? But you try your best to really listen for the fullness of your breath. The more you breathe, the sweeter this may feel. Big inhales in through the nose. And open your mouth to really let that breath go. And now as you draw your left knee and foot back through center, use your hands to pop the therapy balls out. Keep holding them as you just let the weight of your butt drop down to the ground. Take a breath into what you don't see with your eyes, but you can more than clearly feel. And as you find the therapy balls, you can release them off to the side. Give your legs a hug in towards your belly or in towards your chest. Make some small circles in one or the other direction. Or come towards happy baby, letting your hands catch the backs of your thighs or your calves or the pinky edges of your feet. Take a full breath in. And on your exhale, release the hold of your legs down onto the earth. We'll make our way towards Shavasana next. So this is your time. Give yourself a moment to add or remove any layers or props. Feel free to let your hair down, let your glasses set off to the side. But do let those therapy balls fully exit for the remainder of rest. For sometimes they create more tension than softness and release. But as you take anything that you need to become even 1% more comfortable than you are already, maybe a rolled up blanket underneath the knees to let the low back settle to the earth, perhaps a blanket over your belly or over your thighs to anchor you further into the ground. But as you let your eyes close or soften, begin to listen for your breath. Each breath gently dissolves the practice that was. Each breath lets you arrive to where you are now. And each breath that comes after makes space for what has yet to come. So can you let every cycle of your breath let you become heavier into the earth? And the heavier you let yourself become, the lighter, the more spacious, the more expansive you may just start to feel. If the brilliance of the mind wanders, as it has such a great gift to do, can you call yourself back to the feeling of the ground deep beneath you? Call yourself back to the feeling of the air around. And call yourself back to the sound of the breath within you. Begin to deepen your breath. Take a longer breath in and a sweeter breath out. Take another breath in, down and wide. And exhale to offer all of that breath out. Let the breath that you have begin to awaken the body that you're in with any gentle movement that just feels good to you. You might roll your wrists or ankles in one or the other direction. Perhaps you tip your head from side to side, heavy against the earth. Or just being mindful of those around you and any props. You might reach your arms away from your legs or draw your knees in towards your chest. But when the time comes, we'll all meet with the knees bent, arms overhead, as you roll over to any side of your choice to curl into yourself. Take a breath or two here, heavy on the ground. And when the time comes, push into the floor to rise to a tall seat, the same way we began. With those eyes softly closed or softly open, can you once again listen for your breath? Take a deep breath in, down, and wide. And as you exhale, offer the breath up and out through every direction of you. We'll finish our time together with one more of those same breaths. You can place your hands to center, anywhere that feels for you. As you take a deep breath in, to let it all go. You might bow your head to your hands or lift your hands to your head in such a simple yet sweet gesture of self-reverence, bowing to yourself and to one another who practiced right alongside with you. And with all of my heart, I bow to each and every one of you all. Thank you so very much for being here. We did a lot today. Thank you. Thank you for your time, your attention. Drink lots of water. Take so much good care of yourselves. If there are any props that you use from the studio or mats, there's wipes here to wipe them down with. And a couple of announcements while you're de-setting up. Voter registration day for Pennsylvania is October 21st. I know I'm probably preaching to the choir, but please, please, if you moved, if you changed anything, just check. 6 people came up to me and my cousin in Clark Park, and I was like, yeah, do I need to check? I think I need to check, and I checked, and everything's okay. If it's your thing, there's all sorts of resources online about calling Mark Squilla, your representative, about the No Sixer Stadium in Chinatown. Power in numbers. It is a yogic act. Do the research that you need to do. See if this is your thing. But if it is, there's so much stuff on the internet that's going on about it, and I'm happy to talk to you about it if that's of interest. Yoga stuff, I'm teaching the last Saturday class at the Art Museum this Saturday from 9 to 10. It's free. It's been so sweet. The weather has been perfect, and you get $10 off to the museum for the day if you come, so you can make a sweet little day out of it. And then my beloved dad, who will be here next week in class, is doing a free concert at Studio 34, where he will be playing the tabla and the classical Indian flute, and his human adult friend, who is a psychiatrist. I'm not saying that, I'm just like, how do people have so much talent? He's gonna be playing, Manoj is gonna be playing the harmonium and singing classical Indian music and Bollywood songs. So my dad's not telling anyone, but I'm telling everyone, and you can leave whenever you want. It's gonna be the cutest thing in the world. I don't know the time, but it's on Sunday, October 13th. So do come to West Philly and then eat some Ethiopian food afterwards, because we got great food over there. And then the workshops are endless at the studio. October is stacked, so check the schedule. But I'll see you soon. Does anyone else have announcements? Thank you. Any things going on with you in your worlds that you want to share? Okay. I'll see you soon. For those that came for the first time today, I'm thankful for you. We don't often or ever do lotus pose in class, but you just made it at a special time, so there'll be different things coming. But thanks for coming.
What day is your dad's concert again?
Sunday, October 13th. I think it's like 5 to 7 or 7 to 9. I have no idea. He made a flyer, and I can't read it. It's like his and all of his friends' pictures, and like, but it's going to be adorable.